Welcome, guys. My name is Joel Ketty. I'm here to coach on behalf of Extendly for Highlevel. Today, we're going to be talking about the missed call text back feature in Highlevel. So here's what we're going to go over today. We're going to talk about what is missed call text back. Where is it actually located in Highlevel? We'll talk about some of the benefits of using it for your customers, how to configure it. And then I'm actually going to dive in and we'll do like a live build of a quick workflow to create a more advanced version of the text back feature. Because to be honest, the one that's built right into Highlevel, and I actually was looking at the Highlevel help docs, even they recommend building your own custom one because it's the built-in feature is a very, very simplified version of it. And there's some limitations with it. With that, let's get started. Now, before we actually get into it, I actually found a couple of examples in the Highlevel community that I wanted to showcase. And I blocked out their information for privacy reasons, but you can go find them in the Highlevel community. And they were just showcasing the power of missed call text back. So the first one here says, don't forget you could sell just missed call text back and make a ton of money. This missed call ended up being a $1,200 sale for our client. And so what happened was somebody called their client's business, the missed call text back kicked in, fired off a text back to that client or back to that contact. And that contact responded and they ended up booking a group party at that location. And that was a $1,200 sale for that company. And that could have gone to somebody else had they not had that feature in place. So they just saved that opportunity to make that $1,200. The other example here says the missed call text back system got me a new potential client for my agency. Now, it's a little bit hard to read, but essentially what happened was somebody called, they got a text back and they weren't in the right niche for that company, but that person happened to know somebody, had a friend, I believe they were talking about plumbing. Yeah, they had called back in response to an email that had been sent out. And so that person called them, they got the text back and they said, hey, you sent me an email. I'm not a plumber, but I have a friend who's a plumber. And so they were trying to reach out and that text back caught them and landed them a new plumber client through a friend. So that's some of the power showcase of what the missed call text back feature can do for you and for your clients. So let's get into more details about what exactly missed call text back is. In my opinion, and I had an interview with Sean Clark a couple of months back, and I asked him, what are the two main features that if you were just starting out brand new, what would you sell? Missed call text back is one of those two features because it is a very underrated, but very, very powerful, simple feature that Highlevel has. And at a very basic level, what it is if you're using a Highlevel account connected to your business, you have a phone call or you have a phone number that you've set up for that business. If you have missed call text back turned on, anytime that there's a missed call, the system will immediately fire a text message back to the caller. As long as it's not a landline and it's, an SMS enabled line. So somebody's calling from their cell phone, which is most people nowadays, it will send a text message back to that person. So where can you find this to set it up inside Highlevel? From your dashboard, you just go down to your settings and right on the main section here, the business profile, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's a spot here called missed call text back. And I believe that by default, it is enabled on all accounts. So if you don't want it enabled, you'll have to go in and turn it off. Otherwise, it will be enabled by default. So you'll see here, it's very simple. It's turn it on, turn it off with a checkbox. And then here's where you can customize the message that's going to get sent out. So it just by default, it says, hi, this is location.name. So what that's going to do is it's going to take the name that comes from the settings up here. It's going to take the business name from there. I believe it takes, they've changed this up, but I believe it takes the friendly business name. So in this case, this is just a demo account. It would say, hi, this is demo account. I saw that we just missed your call. How can I help? Okay, you can customize it here with custom values. So you can, if you have their contact information, which you may not, because they may be a brand new call that you don't have their contact info in your database yet. So I would probably not utilize, trying to use their name or anything like that. At least not here. But yeah, so right now, that's the basic message. You can modify it. You can put in your mobile number here to send a test just to see what the message looks like. And then if you make any changes, just make sure to hit that button. That's it at a very, very basic level. Okay. So you turn that on or you turn it off and you have it or you don't. The limitations here are that if somebody calls your business, you missed the call, they're going to get a text back immediately. They call back again 2 minutes later and you miss that call, they're going to get another text. They call again a third time, they're going to get another text. Every single time that they call, they're going to receive a text message back, and that can look a little bit annoying, a little bit too automated on the contact side. So we can dive into how to set up a more advanced workflow to kind of mitigate some of that. Some of the benefits of this obviously are being able to help your clients catch missed opportunities. I think the statistic is that there's about 62% of calls to small businesses are missed on a daily basis. And that is a lot of money that they're leaving on the table with that. So by having this feature enabled, let's say, for example, you work in the home services niche and somebody is looking for some kind of an emergency service. They need a plumber and they need it now, right? They're going to go to Google. They're going to look for a plumber in their area. Your client pops up. They call that client. They don't answer because they're busy with a customer or whatever. They're on the job and they can't answer immediately. You've got missed call text back set up for them. So what's going to happen is that contact is now going to get a text fired back to them, say, hey, this is so-and-so. Sorry, I couldn't get your call. How can I help you? And you've stopped them in their tracks from now moving on to the next business online, right? Because if they don't get a hold of you, but they need somebody now, they're going to go to the next business and the next business until somebody answers who can help them out. So missed call text back can be a huge revenue saver for a lot of small businesses. So that's kind of the main draw to that. And as you saw in that example, that one company had a $1,200 party booked because they had that feature enabled. That contact may have moved on to somebody else and called another company to book a party somewhere else because they didn't answer. So it's a very, very powerful and, in my opinion, very underrated feature that, like that one person said, you could sell this as a feature all on its own. So if you want to set up something more advanced for missed call text back, first things you want to do, obviously, is you want to turn that feature off. So all you got to do is go to your settings, make sure you check that box, and then save. Now it's turned off. No phone calls coming in that get missed are going to fire it off. So if you go now, what you want to do is set up a custom workflow. So you want to go to automation, and you're going to go to create workflow. Now you'll notice in here, there's actually a recipe for missed call text back that you can use. So there is a recipe built in that's basically a pre-built workflow. So the workflows, there is a recipe for this. As you can see, there's a little bit more to it than just sending a text message here. So you can come in and you can utilize the built-in recipe just as is. You can come in and modify it, but I'm actually going to show you how I would kind of build this out myself. But let's go over what's included in the recipe first. So the trigger here is call status, and you're going to select call direction as incoming, and then the call status is either busy, voicemail, or no answer, because all of those basically equal a missed call, right? There is no missed call status, but it's busy, voicemail, no answer. So anytime somebody calls the phone number and it's one of those three things, it's going to fire this trigger, which will then fire off the rest of this workflow. So the first thing is there's a slight wait step in here for 0.2 minutes. And that's just so it's not immediately, as soon as the call comes in, they don't get a text to their phone that second. There's a slight delay just to make it not feel like a bot, as it says here in the description. And then what it's got here is an assigned to user. So you would have to come in here and obviously pick, a user in the account to assign it to. So if it's your account, you can choose yourself. If it's for your client, you would just have to adjust that and add your client's name in there. So that's going to assign that contact to a user. It's going to add a tag, and you can pick whatever tags if you want to create like a missed call tag. You can do that there, assign a tag. And then here's where it's going to send that SMS to the lead. So right now it says, hey there, sorry we missed your call. How can we help? And then it's signing off with the location name. Now you could, because you've assigned a user here, change this to sign off with the custom value of username, location name. So that would be Joel Ketty, demo account, or whatever the business name happens to be, John Smith, ABC Plumbing. So you can completely customize the message to however you like it, however your client wants it to read. And then what happens next here is it's doing a push notification to the assigned user, letting them know that they have a missed call, and letting them know also as well, hey, make sure you reach out ASAP before the lead gets cold. So that's an internal notification. You can see up here, the type of notification is notification. And what that means is that's going to be inside of Highlevel. So if you have the Lead Connector app on your phone and you've got notifications enabled there, you'll actually get a push notification to your phone that lets you know you've got the missed call. And also the little bell icon inside of Highlevel, you'll get a notification there. And then next, there's an internal SMS as well. So not only will it do the push notification, but it's also going to send a text message to the assigned user. So whoever you've assigned up here, it'll send a text message to them to let them know they've got a missed call. So that way, the missed call comes in, but you're also making sure that your client or yourself is being alerted that there was a missed call, so you can then get back to that lead as quickly as possible. And if you're on the job, the wonderful thing about this is it's now converted this conversation into a text message. So if that lead responds to that automated message, even if you're on the job, you can quickly respond, right? It only takes a few seconds to send a quick message back. So you can actually engage that conversation, even if you're a little bit busy. So the limitations here as well, similar to the built-in feature, is that this is immediately going to fire all these steps. And if they decide to call back again, it's going to go through here again, right? Now, allow multiple is not turned on here. So it actually won't fire all of this again. But let's say they call you next week. If it's the same phone number calling, it's only going to be able to fire this one time. So I would modify this personally and customize it a little bit further. And the way that I would do that would be, let's actually just go and build a custom workflow. So I'm just going to create one completely from scratch. So I'm going create workflow, and then I just pick from scratch. And let's say this advanced missed call text back. So we're going to use the same trigger that the recipe uses. And that trigger is the call status trigger. And then again, we need to set those filters that the call direction was incoming. And then the call status is busy, no answer, or voicemail. Okay, so now that's going to fire anytime any of those occur. And similarly, we would probably put in a little bit of a wait step. So 0.2 minutes is fine. Slight delay. And, similarly, I would also do the assign user step. I would add a tag. So we're going to say, well, if I have a missed call one in here yet, let's go with missed call. So we're going to add a missed call tag to that user. Then we are going to send a message. So we're going to do that send SMS. Hey, sorry, we missed your call. How can I help? So again, customize it how you like. In this case, I'm going to do user first name. So basically, I'm just rebuilding almost the exact same workflow here. So we're going to do a notification. Now we don't likely have their name, so I'm going to just do missed call from contact phone, so that it's actually going to tell them right in the title which phone number it was. Hey, you have a missed call. And again, I'll use that same custom value. You've got a missed call from this phone number. Make sure to call them back ASAP. So that's, again, an internal notification. Oh, and then it needs to know, if you click on that notification, take them to the conversation, and it's going to be to, it gets a little bit cut off here sometimes. Assume, there it is, user assigned to the contact. And then I'm going to duplicate this, and we're going to do an SMS. And it's to assigned user, and there's the message. So same idea there. Now, there's going to be a couple different ways. Basically, what I want to do here is allow this to fire off multiple times. So I'm going to go into the settings, and I'm going to turn on allow multiple. And what that means is that this workflow can fire more than one time for the same contact. But we don't want them to call one time, they don't pick up, they get a text message, call back 10 seconds later, they get another text message, call back a third time, they get another text message. We want to prevent that from happening. We just want that text message one time. We don't want to be bombarding them with messages if they called more than once. So there's a couple different ways to do this. You could put a wait step at the end here. And let's say we want to have at least 1 hour. Just retitle that so we know exactly what it is. So we're going to say wait 1 hour. So what's going to happen then is they call one time. That contact is going to go through this workflow. We're going to sit here at this wait step for the period of 1 hour. So if they call back within that first hour, they're already in this workflow. Therefore, it will not fire a second time. However, once they leave the workflow, if they call back again, maybe tomorrow, you can still send that text message. You're just trying to prevent them from getting text messages if they kind of call back to back a couple of times. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it would be to have a step where waiting 1 hour. We could do an if else at the top, looking to see if they have the missed call tag. So we're going to say we want them to, if they don't have the tag, we want to fire off the rest of this. So we're going to add a filter saying the tag does not include missed call. Because we've added that tag here. So the first time they come through here, it's going to check, hey, do they have this tag? No, they don't. Okay, let's fire this off. We're adding that tag here. And then we're doing the rest of the workflow. So if they were to call back again, and then let's say we just had like let's go wait 10 minutes. And then you can maybe remove the tag. Or you could even do wait for contact to reply to that text message. And then you could have it time out. So let's say we're going to time it out after 30 minutes. Wait for reply, time out 30 minutes. So essentially what's going to happen is if that customer calls, they don't have the tag, it's going to fire this off. Still going to do the slight delay, assign the user. We're going to add the tag here, send a message, notify the client, and then we're going to wait for that customer to reply to that text message. If they don't reply within 30 minutes, it's going to go ahead and move forward and remove that tag. And then if they now call again later, just knocked my mouse off the desk there. Now, if they call back, it's going to do the same thing. It's looking for that tag. So that is sort of a way to do a more advanced missed call text back. And I would personally advise at the very least going in and using the recipe that's built into Highlevel, add a wait step at the bottom so that they're still stuck inside the workflow for a certain period of time. And that way, if they're calling back multiple times, you're not firing off a text message every single time. But you're still allowing them to, if they call back in the future, you can still have that missed call text back feature in place. All right. I think that pretty much covers it for what I wanted to showcase today. So you had raised your hand, Nick. Did you have a question there?
Yeah, could you pull that workflow back up?
Yep. The one that I was building?
Yeah, the one, yes, the one you're building.
Let's go back here.
I was first stumped on the slight delay, but I realized that the name of it was wait. So when you type in wait.
Yeah, it's a wait step.
Wait.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just the name of the action.
Right.
So you could say whatever 0.2 minutes is.
And the next one is assign.
Yeah, this is just a wait step so that it's waiting a few seconds before it's sending out that text message. That way it's not immediate and it's a little less robotic. Okay. But you want to get to them quickly, right? You don't want it to be like wait 5 minutes and send a message because they may have moved on to trying to call another business by then. So if you wait a few seconds, it's less robotic, but you're getting in touch with them pretty quickly.
Now, if I want to add another user, I have to actually go back into the company, settings, right? To add another user.
Yep. Users would be under my staff, under settings. So that would be add employee here. So you can add another user to the account.
Add employee, another user.
Yeah. Now, another thing actually that I meant to cover was, let's say you wanted to kind of personalize it. Let's say it's a contact who's in your database that's calling and you want to personalize that message. Instead of checking for this missed tag up here, what you could do is, does the user or does the contact have a name? And you can say, yes, they do. And then what you want to do there is you're going to go to contact details. And say first name is not empty. So what it's doing is looking to see if that whoever's calling you, is this an existing contact in the database? And is there a name assigned to them? So we're going to say, yes, they have a name. First name is not empty. And then down here, you could personalize this message. So you could actually put their name in here, right? Hey, contact first name. Sorry, we missed your call. And then if they don't have a name, we can duplicate this entire workflow over here. And then this one's a more general one without their name in it. So all the other actions are going to be the same. I would also probably adjust this notification here. So you could say, missed call from contact's name. You've got a missed call from, and then we'll add the name in here. Oops. Let's remove that from there. You've got a missed call from contact name at this phone number. And so that way, when your client or yourself gets a notification, not only do you have the phone number who called, you've also got the name of the user who called as well. So this way it's checking, do they have a name? Yes, they do. Okay, we're going to send them down this path here. So then you got a little bit more personalized approach. If they don't have a name, so it's a cold call, maybe somebody who's not in your database, we'll still fire off the notifications. It just won't be a personalized message.
Is that add tag? Is that add contact tag or just add tag?
Yeah, it's add contact tag. So if you go, yeah, they probably could use a little bit of fine tuning on some of the stuff, the way they have them named in the system. But yeah, it's add contact tag. When you add it, just add a tag randomly here. It just calls it add tag here. But I can see how that can be confusing. Sometimes there's a little bit of inconsistencies in the system that way.
And we'll send an SMS text message after that.
Yeah. And then notifications to let them know there was a missed call. And then you don't necessarily need to do this removing the tag thing. Or you don't necessarily need to do this wait for reply at all. You can just leave this as a wait step in general, so that at least they're still in the workflow for the set period of time. And that way the workflow can't fire for them a second time until they've moved out of it. And I personally, whenever I build workflows, I like to try to name all of my steps very specifically so that I can at a glance see exactly what is going on. So like my wait steps, whatever 0.2 minutes is, what is that, 16 seconds or something? I would say wait 16 seconds, right? And that way you know exactly what's going on. Assign, in this case, I could put assign to Joel because I know that that's who it's being assigned to. Add tag missed call. So that's kind of how I like to build my workflows. This is going to be, SMS. How can I help?
Internal notification.
Right. This would be, SMS notification to client. Internal notification to client.
So internal notification.
Wait 30 minutes. And then I'm going to say remove tag missed call. Right. So that way you just know very specifically what each of the steps is without having to click on them and open them up. That's kind of how I like to build things.
Okay. So when you said internal notification, you said to client. Oh,
yeah, you could do to client
if you're working
to assigned user. Yeah. Depends who it is. If it's, if this is in your account, you could specifically say, to, in this case, it would be to Joel, right? Because I'm the assigned user. You could just say assigned user. It just lets you know exactly what that is. So I know I can look at this and say, okay, I'm getting a text message when this gets fired off. I'm getting an internal notification. It's being assigned to me. There's the tag that I'm adding. I like to name very, very specifically in that way.
Mm-hmm. So I say internal notification to whatever the name, the name of the company.
Yeah, company name, person's name, whatever you want, as long as you understand what that means.
Okay, and then internal notification would be through Lead Connect, right?
Yeah, the internal notifications go through the mobile app. If you've got notifications enabled on your device. And then the other place that the internal notifications go would be up in the top right with this bell. That's got internal notifications there. So it'll also show up in that list. All right. Any other questions on any of that? Stick around for a couple more minutes if you had anything else.
Yeah, I got a question, Joel.
Yeah. What you got, Adam?
It's actually Steve. This is one of my customers. I was logged into one of my customers' accounts by accident before I jumped on the call here. So something that's just been like bothering the hell out of me with this whole setup is like, so when I know that this automation is primarily just working on, not primarily, it's only working on like the Twilio number that we're setting up for the account. But what I'm running into is like my accounts have a phone number that they've had for like 10 years, right? So, you know, many of their existing clients are using that existing phone number, and it's probably not going to get changed. So is there a way to forward that old number to the Twilio number and still get the benefit of this automation, or is that just not a thing right now?
That's a good question, and I don't have an answer for that off the top of my head. The way that I look at it when it comes to the phone calls, I know that people sometimes run into resistance when it comes to clients like not wanting to change their phone number.
I'm not getting it from the clients. I'm getting it from the perspective of the client's clients.
Right. And I guess it depends. It depends on the industry that you're in. A lot of like for local businesses, sometimes like the business owner gets really like, oh, I've had this phone number for 10 years. I don't want to change it. I don't want to, you know, if you connect Google Business and Highlevel to their Google Business account, it will override their primary phone number, right? And it'll show the Twilio number there. People kind of get
the hard way already, actually,
up in arms about that a little bit. But the reality is, for most businesses, again, your clients may be different. For most businesses, their clients or customers don't have their phone number memorized. And when they want to call them, they're going to go to Google, look them up, and dial the number, right? Again, industry specific. Some industries may be different. Maybe they've got the phone number saved in their cell phone and as a contact, and they're calling that, you know, their favorite business.
Hey Siri, call so-and-so, right? Like,
I mean, you'd have to look into probably whoever their phone number is through, whatever carrier that they use, whatever service they're using, and see if it's possible to then forward that through the system.
I haven't talked to Twilio yet either, but it's just been something that, like, I know like one of my clients has had the same number for 15 years. They don't care. They're fine with it. But I see the traffic on that phone and I see the traffic on their existing phone, and it's still well over 50% is going to the old number.
Right.
Like 2 months later, which I thought was pretty surprising, actually.
I have a client in another agency that I work with, and their main line was already a VoIP line through another carrier. And we actually had Twilio port it over to our Twilio account. And so we can utilize all the features, and they didn't have to change their phone number. So we use some other proxy numbers for like running Google ads for them. So we know phone calls came from here, came from there. But their main phone line that they've had for years is actually through Twilio. So that might be an option to explore if they'd be willing to and able to port it over and then pull that in through Highlevel. That would be an option. And then you could use all those same features, right? Because if you just simply forward the number, the missed call is going to come from the number that it's forwarding, I believe, not the original caller, right?
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. I'm scared to, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have somebody like not getting any phone calls for a day, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So maybe I could make a demo number and play with it that way. I have to figure out how to do that. But anyways, there's probably a way.
Yeah. I think the best solution would be porting it to Twilio if they're able and willing to do that. that helps make them a little bit more sticky as a client as well, right? Because now their
Yeah,
phone number is kind of
I
like
think
tied
that,
into your high level.
I'm just starting out, so I'm mainly working with like pretty warm relationships. So I think like the trust factor is pretty high with these
Yeah.
accounts. When I get further down the road, who knows, right? But
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, this is one particular client that I have that we've again, it was already a VoIP line through another service, and they migrated over to us. And so with that, we just asked them if they could have the other company release the number and then port it over.
Yeah, no, I do know that there's a few instances where I'd be able to do that if it's possible. I think it would be. Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool. Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Nick, one more question.
Joel, can I share my screen with you real fast?
Sure. Yeah.
So this redirect page right here.
Yep.
It says
So I probably kind of glossed
conversation.
over that a little bit. Yeah. So what that is when you get that internal notification, if you were to click on the bell and you've got your list of notifications there, if you click on the notification, where do you want that notification to take you? That's what that's asking. So in most cases, you're either going to want to go to the contact or to the conversation. So that way you're able to see. That's basically if you're using the desktop app. I'm not sure how that actually works on the mobile app because I personally don't use that a ton. But I believe it does the same thing. So that if you tapped on the notification, it should take you into that contact or into that conversation. It just enables you to jump into the conversation and see the text message history. If that SMS goes out to that contact for the missed call, and then that person responds and engages, you can tap on your notification, hop right into the conversation, and then just start engaging back.
Okay. And then to user type, all user, particular user assigned to the contact. So
again, then really depends on what you want to do. If you do all users, any user that's in that account will get the notification. If you only want it to go to whoever you've assigned to that contact, then you would select user assigned to contact.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then there was another one. Let's see here. SMS. Okay. Which was it? Well, I had another question. I can't remember what it was. Add file through URL. What is this add file through URL?
If you want to add a file attachment to the text message, you can either just add it if you click the add attachment button there, you can upload a file. If you want to add it like a document that's saved in like a Google Drive or something, you can add it through the URL.
Got it. Okay.
And it'll achieve the same thing.
So this URL right here, but that would just be a link versus add an actual file. Okay.
Yeah, that's if you want to add a file that's like stored in a cloud drive of some kind somewhere.
Okay.
Versus if you had a physical, like a PDF on your desktop that you want to upload, then you could do that through the button there.
Very good.
Awesome. All right. If that's it for any questions on that stuff, then we'll call it a day. And yeah, that's Missed Call Tech Back. If you're watching the replay of this and you have any questions, feel free to tag me in the comments and I'll try to come back and respond to anything. And otherwise, I'll be back next Wednesday, same time, 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And I have to figure out what my topic is for next week still, but we'll be back with something to do with high-level tech stuff. So, all right, have a great week, and thanks for hopping on. We'll see you again later.
Want to learn Go High Level in a structured format? Check out the gohighlevel.com by Extendly. We guarantee to save you 6 months of wasted subscription costs for High Level. Just visit the gohighlevel.com.